guys.
Hey, how are you, Casey?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the Jamaica Funk Show. This is my co-host, Johanna Bright.
Hello.
And Christos.
Man, we have tonight we're going to talk about my thoughts, guys, but you have to give me time.
We ain't thinking about you. So listen tonight, guys. We got a great show for you. We have Mr. EJ Bassette. He's the author of Silent Cry and Practice What You Preach. So we'll have him up in the second half of the show. And then we got some questions. They're kind of comical. It's things that you don't ask people in public, but people do it. So it's kind of like an etiquette session.
Or non-etiquette session.
Thank you.
As it were.
And then we have Joe's poetry, Christos thoughts, and KT's comments. What's up? What's your weekend like? What you been doing?
Oh my goodness. You know, my daughter just gave birth to my beautiful Ruby.
Yeah.
Ruby Rose is in the house. And man,
Congratulations.
she has taken over.
The house.
We are all officially zombies. And it's not because she's fussy, it's just the babies require a lot of attention. And so just like every few hours we find ourselves, each of us taking turns with her. Because she wants to be a natural mom, and that takes a lot of time out of your day. Plus with everything else that I have to do, doing Joe's poetry online, working the websites for Jamaica Funk Show, working the website for the Journals of Joe Bright.
In other words, she's got a job.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I always had one. I just got more.
Well, that's all right. That's all right.
So my week has been filled with things. That and writing, because I always try to put in time for writing, and sleep.
You don't do much of that. What's your week been like, Christos?
My week, it was terrific.
Oh, really?
I'm very busy creating furs and leather coats, make people happy, especially winter time.
Are you happy it's cold?
Yes, well, I'm not happy that it's cold. I'm happy that I make people happy, and I'm always in their thoughts. When am I going to go see Christos?
I should have your life.
Yeah,
Just
right.
for a day.
Yeah.
Just for a day. I don't want to do the first thing, the making of the first. No, that's not good.
Well, I've had a wonderful week. I've been in Atlanta. I went to Atlanta Friday, and on Saturday my sister had a really big party. That was just really fabulous. It was really great party. And after that, I hung up with two of my sisters, throughout the week. Well, one left on Monday, and then I left on Tuesday, which actually I wound up getting back to Chicago on Wednesday. So, I know. But we're here. I came back to the snow and the cold. I mean, like the what is it? Arctic vortex has fell on Chicago.
Yes, it has.
And people, you gotta dress up. You got to dress warm because it is here.
Well,
I don't think
if
it's
you
going
live
nowhere
in
for
the
a while.
north, you're already prepared for it.
Yeah.
But if you're new here,
Well, I'm actually glad for it because it's Christmas time. And I love a white Christmas. Love a white Christmas, So,
I just love Christmas. It can be white, green, brown, purple, yellow, haze.
I ain't never seen none of that. So anyways, I want you guys to sit back, relax, grab that last piece of jerk chicken or whatever it is that you're eating. Red Stripe beer if you're drinking. But whatever it is, I want you to grab it. Come on back, sit down, and get ready for a sure enough, Mama, shut your mouth reggae show. Well, I
don't
realize.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
So we're back, and today we have the honor of having a fabulous motivational speaker and author of 2 books. One is Silent Cry, and the other one is Practice What You Preach. Without any further ado, here is Mr. EJ Bassette. Hey.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So where should we start?
Well, first of all, so I understand you are a alumni, and I'm going to put it this way, alumni of the Ida B. Wells Housing Project?
Yes. 22 years there.
Oh, really?
But my family actually spent, and what I wrote about in my first book was that Ida B. Wells was at one point for veterans when it was first opened.
Now, which one is your first book? Silent Cry?
Silent Cry.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay, great.
Which is a true story of growing up in Ida B. Wells.
Okay.
And then growing up in Ida B. Wells, seeing the transition, because I'm the youngest of 9.
Oh, wow.
So my dad moved us over there, but what most people don't realize, they think of Ida B. Wells as being notorious for violence before it closed. But one Ida B. Wells was named after a historic African American woman.
Ida B. Wells.
And it opened in the 40s when veterans were coming home from the Second World War.
II.
Right. And it was several things that you had to have in order to move into Ida B. Wells. One, you had to have a job, and 2, you had to be married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder when did that criteria change?
Well, that was part of it changed when our situation changed. And what happened was during the 60s, if you remember, and I remember as a kid, we all had dads at home because we would run around to the different cars in the neighborhood because we would look. My dad always bought Chryslers.
Oh, okay. My daddy was a Cadillac man.
Yeah, so my buddy Ray, his dad always bought Chevys, and then my buddy Lamar dad always bought Oldsmobiles.
Yeah.
So we vividly would run around and look at the cars. But something started changing. I remember when the first kids started moving in, and there was no dad in the house.
Yeah.
And what was happening at that point, that was that first transition when we look back at history, when it was an advantage not to have a man in the house because a woman would get more money or more money for her
Well,
checks.
she could actually be on welfare. Because
Exactly.
welfare had a stipulation where you could not have a man living in your house and
Right.
receive a check.
Exactly.
Right.
And
So it
something
wasn't
that changed over time.
right. And so
Yeah.
it
But-
wasn't where she got more money. She was
Right.
able to get money.
Right. Right. But if you look back at history, that had a significant part to do with our community declining.
Yes.
as
Yes,
we-
it did.
When we look back at it now.
Yeah.
But as kids, what I wrote about was about, it's an autobiography, but it's about 2 friends in that time period. And my best friend and I had dreams just like any other kids growing up and wanting to do something with your life. So my best friend's name is Ray. And Ray wanted to play baseball.
Okay.
And I wanted to play football. So it was a very simple childhood dream. And we talked about it all the time. But as we were living our lives in the environment, the conditions of the community were changing around us. So again, we went from having 2 family incomes coming in. Then we started seeing the single families coming in. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what we're doing is we're pointing out that the transition was starting to happen
Yes.
to more what we see
yes.
now.
Yes. Yes.
So Silent Cry took the name because as we continued to grow older and older, things in the community started taking hold of me and some of my friends. And some of the conditions when you're young, you don't understand what's going on. But as you look back and reflect, you see that they were major changes that now it's evident that those changes were almost designed to cause
They were by
massive,
design.
right,
Yes, they
massive,
were.
problems, issues
Well,
in our community.
what happened is they took the male figure out of the household,
Right.
so there was no representation for the young men growing up in the household, and then you had the influx of single mothers
Right,
raising families,
exactly.
and it kind of caused a shift in the dichotomy of the male.
Exactly.
So, and welfare was designed to do that. It was
Right.
designed to break up families.
Right. Yeah. Now I had a unique thing because what we're doing, all of us, we're living our life, right? But as we're living our life, we're part of the change of life, whatever that is. We're just like now, we're in a historical period where we had our first African American president,
Yes.
and we lived through that.
Yes.
Now you mentioned you have a granddaughter, a grandson.
Yeah, I have 3 granddaughters.
Okay, and your youngest is how old?
A week and 1 day.
Okay, so she never lived to see President Obama, but she will hear about him through history.
And my oldest is 8 years old, and
Right.
that's the only president she's ever known.
Exactly.
Right.
So-
Well, and the 5-year-old, that's
It's
the only president she's
that
ever
they've
known.
ever known
But
as
think
a
about,
black president.
think
Right.
about how history works.
Yeah.
It works where my parents would tell us about before Kennedy, because I remember my mom talking about when Kennedy was shot.
See, I knew Kennedy. I was around when I was actually around when Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Yeah.
I didn't basically remember him
Right.
as well as Kennedy, but I really remember Kennedy because of Jackie O.
Okay.
And Jackie O was a fashionista. She was beautiful. One of the first president's wives that was beautiful in my day.
Right.
And she was stylish and very, very intelligent. Very, very smart lady. Very smart lady. Very classy. So, so Kennedy was really very present in my
Right.
time. But I actually came in during Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is not just the dichotomy of how it changed the male and the female roles in the households, especially of minorities, black
Right.
people.
Yes.
The reality of it is, even though the scope of the family changed back then,
Right.
the numbers were different. There were not as many black people on welfare at the
Right.
time as people would like to assume. There were more white people on welfare at the time, and the numbers rose and rose and rose. But back to your book. Let's talk more about why you wrote the book, and
Okay.
just give us a couple of your favorite stories out of it.
Okay. I wrote the book because by the time we entered college, we were best friends again from 5 years old, me and my best friend Ray. And our dreams was to make it. And then by the time we turned 13 and 14, the gangs, the Blackstone Rangers
And the
all-
disciples and the
all them,
gangsters.
right, all that was
Yeah.
in the community. And by the time we were in college, then that's when crack came in the 80s, crack cocaine.
Yeah, well, actually it came in as, it wasn't actually crack. They were smoking cocaine.
Right.
Then crack came in roughly the late 80s, early 90s.
So in
Absolutely.
your experience, that's when it happened when you
Yeah.
were in college.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Just
And coming,
soon
and,
after.
and coming home
Yeah.
Yeah.
and seeing the change, seeing the neighborhood, seeing people who look like zombies, seeing people and understanding that through my life, I wanted to be successful. But along the way, I started seeing how it was affecting friends.
Yeah.
And so the book is about me and Ray. And Ray, unfortunately, was shot back in the neighborhood where we grew up in.
Wow.
So he never lived the dream, but he wanted to do one thing besides play sports when we were kids. He wanted to write a book about our lives, and he always said we would make it out of the neighborhood. And so he never had a chance to do it. So I went on, graduated from college, became a corporate sales person, and I decided to do the one thing that he said he always wanted to do, which was to write our story. So I wrote our story, and in writing our story, I had to write over 15 or 20 other people that passed away.
Wow.
But in the story, it's kind of like a Coolie High or Boys from the Hood, because in our journeys there's successes, but then there's failures, but then there's a lot of learning when you look back at retrospect and say, wow, this was going on at the time, but now it becomes part of history.
Yeah.
Because it's the past. And what I said in the opening of this, if I was to read it, it says,
Go ahead,
America
please read the jacket.
has just become aware of a social economic problem that is in its own backyard and has existed in the black community. The cry in the community is to save our youth, get murders off the street, and to stop the killing, but it has fallen on deaf ears. There's a silent cry that no longer can be ignored. And so what I was saying back in the 90s was that if we don't stop it, it's not going to just stay in those quote unquote ghetto areas. It's going to go to the suburbs. It's going to go to other communities.
It's already begun, because
And
now you have the epidemic of the white youth doing, actually you find them doing more drugs than you have in the black community now. One of the things that I did not point out, and that is you played football in college.
Right.
So you did live the dream.
Right. I was an athlete.
Yeah.
Went to Lindblom High School, which at the time was one of the top high schools on the South Side. And I had a chance to, and I've been married 31 years now.
Congratulations. To Donna. Bassette,
and
who is also an author.
she's an author. We have 3 children. One is a nurse, registered nurse. One is an engineer, my son, and one is a fashion design major, who was designing her own clothes now.
Oh, wow.
You know, I think it's the
I know,
beautiful
I
thing
know.
about that is that you come from Ida B. Wells,
Right.
in an era of a mother and father, a black family in the same household, who, you know, you obviously had a strong father
Right.
and a strong mother, and they made sure that when you set your goals, you reached your goals, and that encouraged you to want to become that much better.
Exactly.
And that is an era that's gone by in our social living today, black, white, across the board. You know, kids, no matter how you raise them,
Right.
they still go off and do completely and absolutely opposite of what you raised them to become.
And it's a
that's
different
fine.
dichotomy
Right,
nowadays,
that's
because the way
fine.
people raise their children are
Right.
totally different from back in the day.
But that's fine. But yours is still an era gone by. And so now today we go to this day and we go, oh, if we could just go back and do that again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to write in the back of the book of The Silent Cry, The Key to Stopping the Violence. I actually put keys that people can do in order to help. And part of it says, be familiar with your history, your culture, and make sure you are not just an example for yourself, but example to others.
Yes.
If you want violence to stop, you have to sacrifice things, not just for yourself, but in your community. Do things at church, in your workplace. You know, share time, energy, and resources. Number 3, you must admit that where the root cause of any problem is, and if you're part of the problem, try to be part of a solution. Whether it's your marriage, whether it's your home, whether it's your community.
How many of the keys have you written in to the back of the book? How many of them are there?
It's 10 keys in here. And this book, I always say that this book, Silent Cry, that's the story. That's our story of how you made it out. If you want to know how African American young man can make it through times today, this is a blueprint. Then practice what you preach,
Yes.
is the 10 principles for taking responsibility
And
for your
that's
own
your second
success.
book.
Right,
Okay.
which is key.
If you can elaborate just a little bit on that book.
Okay. Practice what you preach. Again, it's 10 principles for taking responsibility for your own success. What it gives you is a history or a reference point to take your life and say, where do I need to do better at? You can write in this book. You can put it, quote, you can put notes in it, and you can stop and say, okay, what are my goals? What are my dreams? What are my ambitions? And anybody and everybody is trying to get to another level. Regardless of who you are, we all are aspiring to be better next year than we are this year. So this gives them or you a blueprint on how to put that together.
Well, and also one of the words that I see that stand out for me on this book is responsibility.
Right.
And taking responsibility for your own success, because a lot of people don't really get that you got to put in order to get out. You can't make a pot of beans if you don't put no beans in that pot. You got to put some beans in there,
Right.
you know, and some water and whatever else, but you still got to put those beans in there, because if you just put water, you got boiled water.
Now you say you can take notes in this book, and I noticed that you had the same thing in the back of this book. There is a spot for you to take notes, and oftentimes people say, I don't remember what page that was on or whatever. So you can buy his books from where? Give us your information.
You can go to our website. You can Google 3B Inc. The number 3, the letter B is like Bob, inc.com, 3binc.com.
Okay. Sounds good.
And you're also on Amazon.com.
Right. Go to Amazon.
And we put in Practice What You Preach or Silent Cry by
EJ Bassette.
EJ Bassette.
EJ, thank you so much for being here today and telling us about your book and just telling us about your story. We so appreciate it, because today there's so much violence going on that it's a breath of fresh air to see someone who could have been caught up in it, but managed to avoid it.
Right.
So we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
I got 3 more books coming.
Okay.
A play on this book. My wife just wrote her first book and coming out with her second book.
And we're going to have your wife and your daughter
Yes.
on the show
An
also.
entrepreneurial family.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
you know, we always need some more information about entrepreneurs and their success.
Absolutely.
And their success. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you.
us on the
Yes.
show.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Well, guys, we'll be back in a minute. Well, I remind.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Today I came up with a bunch of questions, because I have this one particular niece, and she can be really rather annoying, excruciating annoying.
In a good way or bad way?
I think it's a bad way, but you know, that's
I
up to
can't
the
wait to start talking.
it's up to the beholder.
Okay.
But you know, my issue is some people have a tendency to ask people questions that they should not ask.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah. Okay.
what I did is I took the liberty to come up with a bunch of questions that people should not be asking people in public, in private. I don't care. If it's not your business, it's not your business.
No matter who it is.
The first question, we got 19 questions. I don't know if we're gonna do them all, but we're gonna get through them.
This is whether you're with friends or strangers.
Absolutely. So Christos, since you want to start, go for it.
He says, what kind of panties do you wear today?
Oh, he just went straight through the list, people.
Damn!
That's a good one. I I like that
But
one.
hold on, before
No, wait a minute. It didn't say what kind of panties do you wear. It
It does say
says,
something about
it's,
panties.
wait a minute. It says, girl, do you have panties on?
So that's two questions.
but
That's two things you really don't want to say out loud.
Right. And you don't want to ask nobody that in
Inappropriate.
public. You know, if anything, you whisper and you better be good friends of them, but don't ask no strangers.
if I ask, I would love to know what the color is. I love the color.
Christoph would definitely ask.
But you know what? I want to say this.
Uh,
You go on Instagram today, and most of the women there, they promoting their rear end, they're shaking. What is the shaking?
but see, now I have a question. I have one of those questions,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
It's number 12. It says, are you wearing butt pads?
What is
I
that?
don't need none.
Because nowadays you find a lot of women who don't have butts by either go to the doctor and have butt surgery, have implants added to their body so that they can have a bigger butt, or you find
rounder one.
matter of fact, we were looking at a commercial. Remember, we were looking at a commercial of they got these new pants out that has the butt in it.
You know what? I know I'm your
Remember?
sister like that.
Yeah,
But I don't
we was
remember watching
we
that
was
with
looking
you.
at we was looking at that online. We was looking at it online a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, and we were here when we were looking at it.
I don't remember looking at
Well,
nobody's butt pants.
I
but-
can live
No,
with
that was a commercial for butt pants.
I can live with the butt pads, whatever you call it. But
Can you really?
Any-
Let's be real about this.
what?
You looking at some woman and she's fine. She's everything you ever
I mean,
thought a
she's
woman
bam,
should look
bam,
like.
bam.
And then the door closes and the clothes come off.
And all of a sudden she's like that.
But why women? Hold on though.
She
Why
can leave a
women?
skid mark without even moving.
Why women want to fake themselves? I mean, don't they know it's gonna show someday that they're not who they are?
Well, it
How
depends
come
on
they
how
want a
egotistical
real
the
man
man is.
and they are fake themselves? How can you a man really touch fake boobs or fake or in silicone, whatever the hell it is? It's
I
disgusting.
just want you to,
And
if
here
you
or there,
know it, the key
it's
word,
disgusting.
if you know it.
I don't care if
know
you're
it.
small or big, just be natural.
You know
You
what?
can't
Well,
be
it's a
naked.
wonderful thing to say, but it's
see, you're not,
everybody's
and
decision.
you're not
It's
the
everybody's
only man
decision.
on the planet.
Trust
There are
me.
other men who really like that look because it makes them look good, even though they
Right.
want
The
really ain't
fake?
got it.
Right.
Who wants fake?
There are some men out there.
Obviously,
Trust
you
me.
don't, so
You're
there
not
we
one,
are.
but there are a lot of
There
them.
are a lot of men who
And they're fake
So
people.
wait a minute, wait a
No,
minute.
that's
So
not
let's get to the next question. I ain't gonna spend an hour on
How about
butt
this one?
pads.
All right.
How about this one? Number
Okay.
17.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn, your thing is the size of my pinky.
You don't.
That's a lot of look.
You
know-
Wait a minute. First of all, you ain't got no business telling nobody that they thing is the size of my pinky.
In
Number
public.
one. In public, even in private.
So,
And besides that, women never tell a man put it deeper.
Put it deeper.
I don't know
Right.
about him.
Go
that's
deeper.
So personal.
Women.
Deeper.
No, hold on.
Deeper.
Never ask a man.
Never tell your man to put it in deeper.
Yes, you better
But you
tell
know
your
why?
man
Let me
something.
answer why though.
No, you better tell him, because if he don't and he gets there before you do, it ain't nobody's fault but your own.
Okay,
go
so
to the
let's
next
go on to the
one.
next one. Who did you vote for?
I have disowned people, you hear me? Because it's to me, it's like, I didn't like any of the candidates.
Thank
But
you.
to outright have somebody you know as your friend, to align themselves with somebody that, and you're listening to, but they can do this and they can do that. Yeah, but once you take away all the despicable stuff, sure, maybe I'll listen. But I don't want somebody despicable, deplorable, should be arrested, go to jail, you know, have defrauded me.
Sticking his hand up women's dresses.
Has defrauded
Right.
the poor. Okay,
Right.
and as well as the other candidates. And quite frankly, who did you vote for? That's a bygone
And
question.
another thing, there was a guy, a white guy, driving down the west side not long ago, right after the election. And these black guys ran up to his car, asked him who did he vote for. He said the D word. They pulled him out of the car. He beat the holy bejesus out of him. They even got it on video.
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Beat the holy bejesus of him, and the man managed to get away from him, get in his car, and take off. So I'm gonna tell you, especially in this election, you want to really, really, really think twice before you say who you voted for or ask somebody who did they vote for.
Okay, that's a good one. You know what? I think number 13 is good.
Okay, what's number 13?
Is that a wig or a weave? I don't think anyone wants anybody to ask her that.
Right.
Because the fact is, if I put some money on my head, I don't care if it's a wig, a wig,
It's
a hat,
mine.
a cat, a fox.
Thank you.
It's on my head.
Thank you.
It's mine. And it's just embarrassing, you know, because it's just like asking some woman, is she fat or is she pregnant? That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Are you asking now that a woman to woman question
Anybody.
or man to woman?
Well, men wear weaves too. I want you to know, men wear weaves and they wear wigs, which y'all call toupees. So even asking a man that question to me is highly inappropriate because it's none of your business what a person is wearing. If they paid for it, you didn't put no money in the can, hey, so be it. Number 7, how much money do you make?
For me?
Exactly.
Ain't your name Christos?
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Depends who is asking.
man,
It was very great question. Thank you for the question. Continue with the second one.
and that's why you don't ask it in public. Oh, here's another one.
Okay.
Who made the potato salad?
You know,
That
that's
could be
a
a
black
good one or a
thing.
bad one.
That's a black
That's
thing.
a good one
though.
or a bad one. Because,
Right.
you know, black people won't eat just everybody's potato salad.
Thank you.
That's
Why
not
is
gonna
that?
happen.
Because
Well, you ain't black.
everybody's potato salad don't
Because
taste
some
good.
people make potato salad with mayonnaise and that's it. And you don't
Right.
taste nothing but
But
potatoes
and mayonnaise. And actually, potatoes and grease. 'Cause
Ooh.
the mayonnaise just
Ooh.
tastes grease.
And I have tasted some god awful potato salad in
Yes.
my life. But I have
Yes.
to admit, KT, you make some damn good potato salad. Well, thank you.
Okay, so now the last one.
Okay.
Okay. Are you still living with your mama?
A lot of folks are still living with their mama, but
Well, in this day and age, well, no, back when Barack Obama first took office, that was really understandable because a lot of folks was losing their homes and their jobs and everything else.
we're talking about the people that was living with their mama before Barack
yeah,
and before 07.
right.
And
They was cool
2000.
with it, you know, and they down in the basement getting it with you and they mama upstairs.
You know what I can't stand? People who live with their mama and can afford to live by themselves. They make
Yeah.
enough money to take care of mama, right? And buy a car and go vacationing
Yeah.
and can do whatever they want and they still live with their mama and behave like a child. I don't like that.
And I think when you're a certain age, if mama ain't sick and you're living with her because she needs the support, I think you need to be on your own.
Yes.
Because mama really want to be, especially men living with mama, because men tend to want to be mama's husband if daddy ain't around.
Well, and I think
And
that's
mama
part
ain't
of
up
the
for
male.
that.
That's just part of the male makeup.
We understand, but mama ain't trying to hear that.
Well, I wouldn't say
Because
trying to
if
be
mama's
husband,
still
but
getting
men-
it and she still got boyfriends, we don't need our sons coming in
Oh, they
critiquing
know that their
our
mama wants to live
relationship.
with-
Wait,
wait.
boyfriends,
If
right
my-
away
right,
she's
right.
divorced.
Exactly.
She
If
could
you
be.
living at home with your mama and she got it like that and you got it like that, y'all just need to work out a system. And if she don't mind,
You
you
need
still
to stay
living
out of
there.
her business and she
Who
stay
said
out of
anybody
yours.
was in anybody's business?
Well, sons tend to get in that. Now, I got
I
a
don't
son.
know about that. My children
got a
don't want to
son.
know nothing
Okay.
about what I'm doing. It's like,
Well, you got a
mama,
husband.
you got to take a shower. Oh, that's enough information for me. They don't want to know. And I'm good with that.
Well,
So-
you mean single guys living with their mom?
Yes. Yes, that's what we're
Yeah, it's
talking
not
about.
cool for you either.
You don't want to go home and live with mama?
No.
You sure?
No, I gotta, no.
Hush your
Unless,
crowd.
and not in the same, you can live in the same building, but not in the same house. I mean,
Oh my
How-
God.
how old are you?
Everybody on Facebook hit a like. This is the first time in any show we've had all three of us agree on the same thing.
no way.
Yes, wait.
Write it down, baby.
So Listen, guys, it's been great. We'll come back next week. We'll have some more questions next week.
On this subject.
Yeah, on this subject.
I think
But
we should be on.
we're getting ready
To take a break,
to
Crystal.
take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to do Joe's poetry, excerpts from my resume, and Crystal's thoughts and KT's comments. When?
Iron Man.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back, guys.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But
Okay.
anyways,
We have
we've
fun.
been having fun here tonight. It's just been a great night. But without any further ado, we're going to get some poetry from Johanna Bright. Joe's poetry, excerpts from my resume. Take it away, Joe.
Thank you. So tonight I picked out from the Journals of Joe Bright. It's called Addiction. As I go through my everyday life doing things as always, I find that there are just some things I just can't do without. And it's no one's fault but my own. I have found I have grown an addiction that I just can't seem to help. And I don't know if it's bothering anyone but me. It bothers me that I let it get so out of control. It was just a one-time thing. I said, I just tried this one time. No more. Man, we laughed so hard. The music was so good. It brought back memories of better times. When things seemed simple. And maybe because I was young. The things that made me stressed then weren't stressful. Oh, the drama of the young generation. So I told the little. But then, I got old. The drama, well, drama changed. And oh, how I wish for the drama of my youth. I needed it out. With some relief, some time to work things out. But I had no time. Time was no longer on my side. It was no longer my friend, and my enemies were closing in. I just needed a break. Don't we all? A break from all this monotony in life. That's what it seemed like to me. Just that one time. But that's all it took. One lapse of judgment. And now it's all I want. I don't want a break or vacation. I don't want a nap, new clothes, or shoes. I could care less about my family, friends, or my enemies. And my mind thinks of money only because I need it for later. It drives me through the day and night. It wakes me up in the morning. It's my afternoon snack and my midnight craving. I always make sure it's there for me when I come home. I mean, it has no feelings, so it can't hurt me emotionally or physically or psychologically. It doesn't care if I bathe or eat or sleep, drink water, call, work, love my husband, or take care of my kids. It has no desire at all to see me excel. It doesn't have any expectations for me whatsoever. It doesn't care if I run out of money, lose my job, or if my family and friends die or shun me. Well, so you can read that and much more at mamayaya.wixsite.com, and that is my new blog site and my website. Or you can just go to Joe's Poetry, excerpts from my resume on Facebook, and check us out there. I'm also on JamaicaFunkShow.com.
Yes, she is. So, next, we got Christos, and he's been itching. He's been itching to have us interact with him, so it's going to be interactive today. Because he really wants us to be passionate. He really wants to be passionate. I don't have a clue. However, I'd like to make a disclaimer. Christos Christo's thoughts is Christo's thoughts. They are not the thoughts of the show. They are not my thoughts. They are not Joe's thoughts, but they are Christo's thoughts. So, having said that, without any further ado, take it away, Christos.
I wanted to say three things in my thoughts today. The one of them is a joke. But before I go into the joke, what is the deal with women today? What I mean is, they go on this Instagram thing, whatever it's called. They put the rear end in the camera. They shake it up and down. And what, are they trying to show they're sexy?
Can I
tell you
what that is?
What is that?
That's called a dance called twerk. It is called twerking. And that's why they put their butt up in the camera and they shake it up and down. They make it clap. Because that's the name of the dance.
And that's not twerk. My question is, when you do that, you're degrading yourself. What is that got to do finding another man 10,000 miles away, looking at the cold screen phone or computer that he sits in? What does that do to you or to him? Human beings are meant to touch and feel and be a part of community and be together. What is a guy looking at the cold camera and you 2,000 miles away? What is it good to anybody showing your butt and or your breast or your bikinis? Come on, you want to find a man, go out and find them. You're not going to find them in the cold screens of computers.
It's free porn, boy. It's voyeurism at its best. At best. You know, so, but what are the other two? What are the other two thoughts?
The other two thoughts is, one is a joke. Anyway, it's not a thought. My second thought is this. Women are always right.
Let's hear that again.
Women are always right.
Always right.
Okay, but there is the big but.
Doing the buts again.
With the big T in the. But when a man says to the wife, "Sweetheart, you're right," is he right or wrong?
I think the reason why a man some men, not all men, but why some men automatically agree with their woman is basically because he avoids an argument. He avoids drama. If he just say, "Oh baby, yeah, you're right," then there's nothing she can come back with that could be distractive or disruptive. So it's wise.
No, it's not that wise.
It is very wise when a man. It is very wise when a man says.
Let me give you a big timeout on this one.
No, hold on. No, I have the answer for this guy.
I think it's wise when a man says, "Honey, you're right."
You're completely wrong.
I think that it's unwise to give in simply because you don't want to argue. I think that if you have an opinion and you have something to say, and then I raise my children so you have something to say, you should just say it. You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be ugly about it, and you should stand your ground. No man should just say, "Honey, you're right," because that's how men get that quote unquote phrase, he's henpecked. And she thinks that she's right when she's obviously wrong. And that leads the relationship down a garden path that's going to lead to nothing but hellfire. Trust me when I tell you this. I've been married for 26 years. If my husband just ups and says, "Honey, you're right," and I know that he has something to say about it, it just makes the conversation last longer.
No.
Well,
Be
you
married
both are
26
wrong.
years and then say no.
My answer is this. If a man or a woman has to compete that she's right or he's wrong, they shouldn't be together. I say, when you marry to somebody, you lose yourself because you become one. Husband and wife lose themselves to become one. You lose your everything that you mean, you're bad, you're this and that. You become one soul, one body. You don't compete with your wife or your husband. You're one. Can one compete with itself?
I'd like to see
Hell
them
yeah.
4 legs. I'd like to see them 4 legs become 2 legs and 2 feet. That's really dumb.
What's that?
Please.
What you
Because
just
what-
said.
what you're
When a
saying-
husband and wife become
Girl,
one,
no,
isn't this supposed to be one?
No,
No.
yeah,
What
how
is
you gonna
supposed-
be one? You're
No.
2 people.
No.
You're supposed to.
What's
You're supposed to
love?
align.
Love
You are
is
supposed to be aligned as one.
Love
but
is-
physically,
exactly.
there's this. The only way y'all can be one is y'all in the bed having sex. That's how you become one.
I'm talking about soul, psychologically. So husband and wife, they don't complete, they become one.
But what you fail to understand in
What
a
you
marriage
understand?
is it takes 100% on both sides.
Can I ask you a
Yes.
question? Are you married?
For the record, I don't want to answer that. Continue with the second question.
You get along better when you get it all out on the table. Period.
Why
You
would
add
you
it up
people,
in the
if you're married
conversation.
to become one soul, one body,
But I still don't agree with you because what you're talking about is how am I supposed to be, even if it was just me and KT.
okay, I have a question for you then.
No, you haven't let me finish my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
If I was in a relationship
Yes.
with somebody for a long period of time,
Yes.
I came in as me. I am not going to change who I am because that's who they were attracted to. Why should I mold myself into being something else once I get married?
Because it's a tender love, baby.
Eat that piece of paper. It's time for the joke. You better be funny.
The guy gets up in the morning, he sees 3 hairs in his head. No, 3 hairs in his head. He goes in front of the mirror, he combs it left, he combs it right, and he goes to work.
3 hairs?
3 hairs.
Okay.
Next morning he gets up, he looks in the mirror in the morning, 2 hairs. He gets panicky, he combs it left and right, he covers his head as much as he can, he goes to work. The next morning he gets up, he sees 1 hair. He says, son of, what the hell happened to me last night? He goes to his pillow, he's looking for his hair, he can't find it. So he combs his hair this way, then 1 hair, and then he goes to work. The next morning he gets up, no hair at all, not even 1 hair. He looks in the mirror, he goes like it was his hands, he goes and takes his comb, he combs it. He says, that's okay, he says, son of a bitch, I go to work with combless today. Why, you didn't like my joke?
To be quite honest, you were kind of hilarious.
The way you told it was a lot funnier than the
The
actual
3
joke.
heads, the 3
The
heads.
left and the right.
Right.
So my mind is trying to figure out 1 hair, and it's that way. It's like, whoa.
It's a little scary. You got 3 hairs and you combing all 3 of them left and 3 of them right and then parting them down the middle. Because you got
That
1
sounds like
that way and
this.
2 over there.
You just get a marker.
Right. Or why don't you just put a little paint on your head, you know, and make it look like you got
They got
hair.
that in the can. Men
Yeah,
have that in the
spray
can.
it.
Men, they did. Remember that commercial? Men had that spray hair in the can. Spray that ball
And they
spot?
still do it
Oh
now.
my God! Really? Oh
Yeah.
ooh, okay.
It's time for KT's comments.
Is it ready?
Yeah, well, my comments is back on the things that you just don't say to people in public or sometimes even in private. So, when you tell somebody, you look fat in that outfit. First of all, people have a hard time dealing with the way they look to begin with when they get up and put something on and it don't fit. So for them to come out in public and somebody to tell them they look fat in that outfit and have they gained some weight, that's fighting words. That'll make a woman want to turn around and slap the holy slop out of you or run in the opposite direction to get the heck away from you. So please, whatever y'all do out there, stop telling people you look fat in that outfit, because that really doesn't matter, okay? If they put that outfit on and wore it, turn your head and laugh and keep on going. Just don't lie and tell them they look good. And the other thing, how much money you make. You don't ask nobody how much money they make. Hell, your butt can't spend it. You cannot spend their money unless they give you their money. Okay? It ain't going into your bank account. It's going into theirs. So whether or not if they made 5 cents, $5 or $500, it ain't your business. And lastly, you know, we have these grab bags at Christmas time. And people go in and they have a set amount of money that they supposed to spend on the gift. Usually it's around $25, $30. Listen, if somebody give you a gift because they had your name in the grab bag, don't walk up to them and say how much this gift costs. Because, first of all, if it's supposed to cost $30, they're going to say $30, number one. And number two, it's a gift. And a gift is to be appreciated, not to be critiqued. If you don't like the gift, do what most folks do. Re-gift it the following Christmas. And you can give it right back to them, just in case you get their name in a grab bag next year. So, if you want to read more about these questions, because I find them a lot hilarious, just go to JamaicaFunkShow.com. Well, next week
we are going to have Halima Muhammad Ali, granddaughter of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. She is going to have a second part of her interview, and she's going to elaborate on the current climate of the Muslims today.
Also, Christos, you have a guest next week, don't you?
Yes, Alicia Strauer, she's ethics against drugs. Real quick, once I bought somebody a present, you know how they say, you buy him a present, the present what it counts, nothing else. So I went out, the effort that you put in to buy the present and bring it home and blah, 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 blah. I took the present home. She looks at it like, what the hell is that? I said, what happened to the effort that I put in? She threw the present in my head. I'm like, I thought the thought that I thought of you to bring you the present.
What was it? What'd you bring her, a hammer?
I brought a nice glass shoe.
Because every woman wants a glass shoe.
Yeah, I want a glass shoe. Don't you want a glass shoe?
It's a glass shoe with a thing inside that you take the soap out.
I've always wanted a glass shoe
with the soap
in it. Thank you guys for being here. We so appreciate you. Keep warm, because it's cold as a big dog outside here in Chicago. And when it ain't cold, it's going to be snowing. So put your boots on and wrap up tight so you can keep warm. And until next week, Thursday, JamaicaFunkShow.com. We will see you next week.